This tutorial is about horizontal gullies. So normally a pop-up spans a gully in the middle of the spread and the gully is vertical. And so this is about making a gully that's horizontal across the page so you can build different things into it. This is the most simple version. There's a nice example in this book, My Jungle Pop-Up, illustrated by Gullies. And the pop-up concerned is this one. The mechanism produces a horizontal gully which isn't used any more than that. You can always build in it, so I'll just show you how to make one of these. Start with a nicely creased base sheet. So the underlying mechanism in tutorial 17 is based on a strip like this that has a fold down the middle and then a star-shaped fold in the middle, so it folds this way and it folds diagonally as well. These two tabs are supposed to be on opposing sides. I made them both on the same side, so I'll just have to really quickly recut that. So we'll just put an extra crease in here. The whole thing will be slightly smaller, but no worries there. You want a tab on one side like that. And the other one is on the opposite side diagonally. So where I made a mistake, I put them both on the same side. In this case, here we go, like that. So now we've got the two tabs opposite each other diagonally. This is exactly the same as tutorial 17. The difference in this case is, in order to have the two arms standing upright, they need to be lifted very slightly off the page. So you see, that's what these yellow bits are doing, is lifting that up. The mechanism works with these two pink arms that lift it up, but in tutorial 17 the pink bits are stuck directly onto the base. But in order to make them lift like this, the whole thing has to be lifted up slightly. That's what these little yellow pieces are. Here they are. I've made two of them. They're just going to fit into the corner like that. They're not creased in the center. This piece is flat. They just have these two parallel folds there. So I'll just glue these in. Put the glue on. Oh, before I go on, you can just test that this is all working right. When you close it up, it should be like that. So the two arms are just flush up against each other. And then you know that you've got these four angles here. They're all 45 degrees. In fact, all the angles all the way around are 45 degrees. So we'll just stick this in there, put some glue on it. That will keep that triangle absolutely flat. And another on the other side. Okay, and we'll just check that that works, still works nicely. Yes, it does. And so these outer flaps are going to fold down. Now we'll take this and it's going to sit on the page like that. I think these flaps could actually go underneath, but just for ease of action this time, I'll just leave them on the outside. Fold them up, fold the whole thing closed. I think you can put the glue on both tabs at the same time, in actual fact. Let's just do that. So that's one. And the other. And basically I just do it pretty much by eye. Something like this. Make sure it's centered. You can close it just to make sure it is all working well. Well, if you do it while the glue's still wet, it can just move a little bit. There you have the underlying structure, and then you've got this piece which is, that would go like that, right. So I'll put the glue on the two tabs, a bit on that tab. Now just smear it around. Now we can close it and just fit it all the way. So there we are. I'm slightly off. It's got an unnecessary little wrinkle there. But so you can see it sticks down. One end sticks on one side, the other end sticks on the other side. It can overshoot the pink bits. That's all fine. It all fits within the base. It could have actually been even longer. It can also be a bit wider. But this is the starting position, a horizontal gully for building into. Incidentally, when you come to look at it, there are a whole series of other gullies you can build into. There's these two here, and again on the other side. There's also these ones inside the pink arms. All that is explained in tutorial 17. You can see how to use that type of mechanism. So the other one I want to show you is a more complicated version. That is this one. It opens like this, and it's not quite horizontal, but it's definitely getting away from this vertical one on the base sheet. And this one appears in a pop-up book of nursery rhymes by Matthew Reinhardt. And the last spread in the book is this. So it's a highly complicated spread. You can see the main business that creates the gully is this, and then everything else is built onto that. And the actual structure is pretty simple, or the underlying mechanism is pretty simple. I can just show you how it looks behind. You can see the whole thing is operated just by a great big V-fold, and that V-fold, the angles are 45 on the base and on the V-fold, so when the base is open, the whole thing does pretty much lie flat. And then built into that, underneath here, you've got another V-fold built into one of those gullies. So that's all I'm going to do now, is just make one of those. Here's the base I've created. Here's the first piece. It's just got a central crease. These angles are both 45 degrees. I've creased these already. So this is going to go right at the top of the page and flat. So you put the glue on these two outer triangles. They don't have to be this big, they could be smaller. Okay, make sure it's lined up with the central crease. Smooth these down. Fold it shut, make sure it's in the, that it's all good. Then I'll just cut that top off because it's not necessary. So that's the starting point. This is a square. Again, two 45-degree angles. Tab on each side. I'll just trim them down the way I always do. And so this sticks in. So this crease is parallel to the spine, and this one is coming at right angles to this fold across the previous V fold. I've made it also slightly big, so I think I'll just trim it down a bit, just down one side. So that's probably good now. We want this crease to line up with this crease. I'll put the glue on it. I'll just fold that again just to make sure it's working nicely. Yeah, that's good. The further down this one you come, the bigger you can make the final sheet. But at the same time, the lower down you come, the smaller this surface is going to be. So it's a sort of trade-off. Anyway, here's the piece I'd made to stick on that's going to create the large horizontal gully. So that's just going to stick in there. I'll put some glue on that and on this side as well. A more or less horizontal gully. Very simple in this iteration. Jane suggested it could be presenting a letter. So we'll just have a look at Matthew Reinhardt's and see how cleverly he's adapted that mechanism. You can see on his, it extends beyond the square V-fold I'd used. He's extended it on up onto the base page. And then if we look at it that way, you can see there's a whole series of parallelograms. There is an added complication because he's got this starry night at the back, which is to do with this mechanism here. As the base closes, you can see there's a bar here that is pushing a piece backwards and forwards, which is giving you this starry night effect in the window. All a little bit complicated, but that's basically how it works.